Hey there, folks! The last few days have been an exciting time for Monster Hunter fans and for me personally, as Capcom finally dropped the much anticipated open beta for Monster Hunter Wilds. I myself have been a big fan of Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter World came to the PS4. I absolutely fell in love with the franchise and dropped nearly 3,000 hours across World and Iceborne respectively, and a further near 300 hours in the Monster Hunter Rise port from the Switch. So I've been patiently counting the days until I could get my hands on Capcom's latest offering in the franchise. It must be said as well, it's refreshing to have a studio give us lowly peasants an actual open beta. No need for paywalls, pre-orders or credit card information, just a straight up beta test available with enough time pre-launch to actually fix anything that needs more time in the oven. Monster Hunter Wilds is set to launch fully on February 28th in around 4 months from now. All too often these days we see betas that are locked behind paywalls and are available the week before launch, when it's likely too late to make changes to the final product anyway. So Capcom opting for the former is a great indication they're committed to delivering the best possible Monster Hunter game. Now for the purpose of this video, I will take you through the beta's features and give you my impressions of what I've played so far. Firstly, let's get into the settings and optimizations, as there's been a lot of noise regarding Monster Hunter Wilds frame rates and graphical fidelity in various settings, so let's dive in. Obviously, this is the PlayStation 5 version of the game, yet there is so much customization and optimization possible depending on your circumstances. Almost everything can be tailored to your preferences and set up to deliver the Monster Hunter experience that's optimal for you. But with that being said, let's get straight into the most contentious point that has been dividing the community, the performance. Wilds gives you the option of quality mode and performance mode, with the extra welcome addition of 120Hz output, which in this case may allow for even greater, smoother frame performance if you have the TV or typically gaming monitor that supports it. So let's look at this in action. Firstly, I should preface this by adding I play on a gaming monitor with the HDR active. I'll be looking closer at this quality a little bit later on. For the purpose of transparency, I will display what graphical settings I prioritized for the gameplay in the corner for the duration of this video. Monster Hunter Wilds brings back an excellent character creation that has been a staple since the early days of the franchise. There's even more additions here than ever before. I had a lot of fun recreating my past characters from previous games, but in the Wilds engine. There's a setting here for just about everything, so there's no shortage of options no matter your acquired tastes. If I had to lay criticism, it would be that various hairstyles do still clip through armors. It's not a huge issue or defining immersion breaker, but I would like to see that being a thing of the past. But again, it by no means affects gameplay or my overall feelings towards the game. As is usually the case for me with these games, I know I'll be investing some serious time into it, so I always opt for a female hunter. If you're staring at the back of them for thousands of hours, it just makes sense. Right guys? Personal preference, of course. Now once you've created your hunter and you're happy with your design choices, you'll instantly transition to your first cutscene, seamlessly. This seems to be a new feature and is very welcome. From here, you're introduced to the game's opening and first story mission, with countless tutorial pop-ups to aid you if you're new to the franchise. Once you're past this, you are loaded into the base camp. From here, you are free to explore the wilds and engage in the beta's available hunts. actually set the ground on fire. So far, Monster Hunter Wilds recaptures everything I loved about Monster Hunter World, with some of the mobility seen in Rise. Hopefully, we see this explored further through tools like the mantles and grapples later into the game. I'm not expecting the full movement of Rise's wire bugs, but increased exploration into mobility is never a bad thing. The environments in Wilds beautiful to look at, and despite the actual traversable map size being modest, Wilds does a decent job of appearing to be larger than is actually accessible. This by no means takes away from the game. I'd imagine this is merely one of the several biomes in the game, each with their own ecosystem and natural predators. This is customary for these games, and Monster Hunter Wilds isn't reinventing the wheel, but gracing us with a more detailed, weather-affected biome, complete with realistic lighting and shadows. Even accessing your map from your journal is now an overlaid screen with dynamic movement, never truly taking you out of the action and immersion. From here, you can set waypoints and track monsters that, once selected, will be tracked down automatically by your trusty mount. There's many new additions into Wilds that are new and welcome to the franchise. Some of these include the new Power Clash mechanic, which is triggered when you time a perfect guard on certain incoming monster attacks. You get this cinematic camera angle and an opportunity, if successful, to knock them down. As mentioned earlier, along with dynamic weather, where lightning, for example, can actually strike the monster during hunts, there's a new focus mode. Basically, when you hold down the left trigger, you can free aim your attacks and precisely target specific monster parts that are highlighted when wounded. With this new mechanic, I definitely found myself losing momentum far less than in previous games, as now I have the ability to make adjustments mid-move as the monster changes position. This is an extremely welcome feature. One of the most drastic changes in the series is the ability to change to a different weapon mid-hunt without the need to travel back to camp. Your trusty mount will hold a secondary weapon of your choosing. This is a game changer, as ranged weapons, for example, can actually be used while still mounted. So if the monster flees, you can ride him down, heavy bowgun in hand, and deliver continuous punishment. I can only imagine the sheer carnage if this is combined with endgame bowgun builds. Sign me up. There's many quality of life features that have made their way into Wild that help elevate the experience over its predecessors. Some notable additions I personally really enjoyed were subtle changes to things like mining. In past games, you would use a pickaxe with no real animations in the mining material. In Wilds, you can clearly see you pick up individual rocks. It's a small upgrade, but one I appreciate. You also get covered in dust when rolled around on sand, which just brings the environment to life and increases immersion in every way. You can now change camera angles when in your camp tent, and your character finally has a voice. All these additions to the game, while subtle, really enhance the experience as a whole, and being a veteran monster hunter myself, I welcome these and the countless other additions that have made their inclusion into Wilds. There's no denying the difference in performance quality depending on your settings and display. Regardless of what device you watch this video on, I'm sure the drops in frames and blurring of textures is noticeable. Monster Hunter Wilds seems to be an extremely CPU demanding game. Even the PC master race have been encountering technical performance issues despite having extremely powerful rigs. This actually prompted Capcom to deliver a statement which read as follows. The issue of after-image noise occurring in certain environments when frame generation is enabled will be fixed in the full game, which is already in a more improved state compared to the beta test. So, if we can glean anything from this other than corporate PR, it's that Capcom are very well aware and have 4 months to polish Wilds so it's the gaming experience we all desire. Given Capcom's track record with Monster Hunter specifically, I will give them the benefit of the doubt and look forward to getting my hands on the finished product. With that being said, how Wilds will run on console is likely a different conversation. When the full game arrives on February 28th, I'll be diving in on the PS5 Pro, so stick around on the channel for all the juicy gameplay. I'll leave you now for a few minutes to enjoy a couple of quick hunts without my commentary on. There'll be 2 different performance settings, which obviously I'll display in the bottom left corner as usual. I'll give you my closing thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds after that. Enjoy.
Set a trap.
In closing, Monster Hunter Wilds is another exciting installment in the franchise that, despite its obvious technical issues, delivers a really fun experience. If Capcom can get this further optimized for consoles by February 28th, this will no doubt be one of the best additions in the long history of Monster Hunter. This will likely be a must-buy for long-time Monster Hunter fans, and hopefully with its increased accessibility, open the door to millions of new fans alike. Monster Hunter games are typically excellent value for money, offering thousands of hours of gameplay, and if the depth teased in the beta is any indication, then we're in for another fantastic entry in the series. I've absolutely loved what I've played so far, and knowing I'll be fortunate enough to play this on the PS5 Pro, I'm counting the days until I can explore Wilds further. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of Monster Hunter Wilds or the beta specifically in the comments below. I look forward to reading your thoughts. Please help support my YouTube journey by giving the video a like and subscribe for more awesome gameplay content. Take it easy guys, until next time.